Hello, everyone. Welcome to the maiden edition of On the Coach, where real estate meets reality. I am Chibuzo Amamaika, and I am excited to be your host on this show where we'll be bringing you seasoned real estate professionals as we discuss everything real estate. Whether you are a first time home buyer, a seasoned real estate investor, or you're just curious about the ever changing world of real estate, this is the place to be. On the Couch, we bring you all things real estate, from the latest market trends and investment opportunities to navigating the challenges of buying, selling, and developing properties. We understand that real estate is not just about bricks and mortars, it is about building dreams, securing future, and making informed decisions that impact your life. Today on the coach, I am privileged to have with me an astute professional. He is a distinguished and esteemed surveyor. He is none other than my friend and brother David Elegbede. Welcome, David.
Thank you very
I'm
much.
excited to have
It's
you.
good to be here. Thank you
Thank
for the
you.
privilege.
Thank you so much. And before we go on, I'd like to thank you right here on camera for the push, for the support, everything you do behind the scenes to push me to this place. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, when it's time to do it, when you know it's going to make impact, it's enough for one to also support and see what you can get out of it. The most important thing is people are able to benefit from it.
Thank you
So
so
thank
much,
you for
David.
accepting the push.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So let us meet David. David is a diligent and intelligent young professional who has risen to the occasion of bridging the gap in geospatial solutions availability, integrity, and management as a whole. His focus extends to empowering young professionals, fostering their skill development, and contributing to establishing a sustainable society. He is the Director of Operations at Geosys Nigeria Limited, an excellence-driven geospatial enterprise that provides surveying support and consultancy services where he excels in project management, geospatial modeling, and analytics. David is a licensed surveyor with the Surveyors Council of Nigeria SACON and a member of the Nigerian Institution of Surveyors. He, over the years, has served in both local and international committees, in various capacities. He is currently the chair of the International Federation of Surveyors, FIG, Young Association Network, Young Surveyors African Network, and the lead in the country development team of the FIG Volunteer Community Surveyors Program. He is also the FIG Climate Compass Task Force and FIG Monitoring Team for Nigeria. Yay! What a profile. David, you almost broke my head. Man, your profile is massive.
Thank you. Yeah, just little things we do to also give back to the society, and we talk about sustainability and climate change is just one of it. Also helping the younger ones to be able to mitigate some of the gaps that are left. So we
Okay.
wish to do more.
You humble me when you say those are just little things. Like this thing I just read is little things. Okay,
Of course,
let's
yeah.
go.
Of course, it's just little. It's just very little.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. So to you on this show, David, there are very important things I'd like us to discuss. Now, looking through the lenses of a surveyor, I want to talk about the demolitions that have been going on in Lagos recently. What is going on?
Oh.
Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ gangan? What's happening? People are afraid to buy properties in Lagos because I've met people that tell me, I cannot invest in Lagos for now because I cannot put my hard-earned money into something and somebody will just wake up one day and demolish it. Can you tell us what is going on?
Yeah, okay. It's a nice question because it's a good one to start with actually. Because the truth still remains that these are things that can happen anywhere. It's not just Lagos. Yes, the first thing in life is planning. Even God planned,
Yes.
and if places have been planned, then it is now within the prerogative of the intending owner to do the needful. So we always say it is important for you to do your due diligence because
Yeah,
like a city like Lagos, you made a statement saying people are scared to invest in
of
Lagos, but
course, yes.
investment in Lagos cannot be compared to any other investment anywhere in any of the states in Nigeria because it's a commercial hub.
Yes.
So, and yes, sometimes you take risk, but I think it is also important to take good risk because
Mm-hmm.
you should be taking risk that talks about, oh, I've put my money here. In 5 years, will I be getting times five? Rather than in 5 years, will it be gone because I will not be holding it? Lagos is planned for. Lagos is mapped.
Mm.
Lagos is has a structure. It has its own master plan, and sometimes you see that intending owners end up um, uh, well out of over and when they are too excited to own something, it is enough to say I want to own something. I
Mm.
Oh, thank God I am now owning something in Lagos. That's
Yeah.
the joy. But that joyfulness needs to come with a little of cautions because it is important for you to affirm. You do your due diligence, and when you are doing your due diligence, if you have been able to, if for any reason you have been able to do your due diligence without cutting corners, and you're able to get your proper documentations, nobody would come and demolish
Now you said something. You said without cutting corners.
without cutting
Now
corners.
we we have seen some people that are they actually set out to do the right thing, but
Mm.
we also know that there are people that will not allow you to do the right thing in the system. So is it now let's go back to while we're talking about demolitions, I'll also chip in the issues of what's it called, collapse, building collapse, because I feel they go hand in hand. So we have seen people that actually intend to maybe do the right thing, and because of some of the bad eggs in the system, they lure them as saying, no, it's not like that. Come and do it this way. And things just go south. You understand? We have also seen people that intentionally go to these offices to cut corners. For instance, let's take the Gerald collapse, for instance. It was approved for 15 stories and it was moved to 21, thereabouts, whatever it was, I can't even remember. But we see that these people went all the way up. So it's a two-way thing. Why the people are cutting corners in one way? The government itself, they are not, I believe there is no checkmate to see that these things do not happen in the first place because the offices are so porous. In short, why should I want to go? Why should I achieve the aim of cutting corners if the government have their asses closed?
Okay, I think it has to do with the public and an intention to want to get things done cheaply, and also with an appeal.
Mm,
Because in all of the cases that has been brought to the table, we're still yet to get who is the officer who went through this? Because it is somebody saying, oh, the person next door did something,
mm,
so link me up with the person. The guy in the system knows that he must not be caught doing what he's doing.
of
But
course.
it is somebody saying, "Come, let's. I can help you to. Can you help me to do this?" And they say, "Oh, no, you cannot do this. But if you want me to, so it's still a plan B." Now, when it comes to demolition, the reason why there's a demolition is because there's a contravention. So if you have contravened a certain conditions, most especially the demolitions we're talking about, the only reason why government is looking at it is because the issue of flooding, when you see water pouring and you ask yourself, because even myself as a surveyor, when I move through Ikeja along and everything, I say, this is City of Excellence. Even on Awolowo way, you see water.
Yeah.
But if we need to do the right thing, a lot of persons will have to cry. And until we are ready to make the sacrifice. But the ones that have been demolished, of course, I still stand to say they need to bring out that documentation to show if truly they got the approvals to move on. Because in every developed country, everybody will say, "Oh, if you go to America, if you go to London," but can you conform yourself to the kind of rigor and the kind of assessment that they go through in these countries? Because if you really want to do something, before you buy, we say consult a surveyor. The surveyor picks the coordinates. It checks for you.
Mm-hmm.
whether it's within a location that might cause you a trouble. Now,
Yeah.
it doesn't stop there because the surveyor might only be able to tell you, okay, whether it is under government allocation or there's a proposed plan for the place. Even if you take the coordinate and take it to district offices of the physical planning or physical planning also, they can overlay on the master plan because the development you are seeing today is not that they are just waking up today to say we want to do this.
Yes,
It
the
has
master
already been
plan has
planned
been
for.
there.
It's been
Yeah.
in the master plan. So when they put it on it, they'll tell you, oh no, a rail is going to pass here. No, there's supposed to be a drainage here. Oh no, a canal is supposed to. We're going to construct a canal here later in the future. It might not be visible now, but it will come later in the future. When you hear those kind of things, you should know that, oh, I'm not supposed to carry on. But the question you will hear people ask you is that, um, uh-uh, there's a lot of house there. How will they demolish such a house? And
Exactly.
you see that when the chips are down,
Mm,
you ask the people who have been affected, can you show us your documentation? They
mm.
don't have. Even if
Many
they
of them
have,
really
it's
don't.
either it is doctored. It's not the real one. So the public needs to also stand their ground, even when they are being given offer. But I know that when you are constructing, before you get building approval, they also chart to be sure that where you want to build is buildable.
Mm,
Then if it is buildable, they carry on, they keep coming to check. If you contravene what is on your design, they will flag you down. But when you are contravening, you see somebody with an offset of setback for that is expected, they will close it up. And when the guys come, they will begin to play hanky panky. So yes,
exactly.
of course, the officers who had gone and had also approved that they can carry on should also be brought to book. But the public also needs
To do the
to
right
do the
things.
right thing.
Yes.
Yes.
So why I'd like you so I wanted to point out something from what you said. Now you've talked about the surveyor charting the property. We also have the lawyers to do the due diligence. We also have other places, other offices that a lot of us don't even know. I, as a realtor, even got to know about the Ministry of Environment being a place that we can even check whether a property is buyable or not. Now, at the point where someone has already bought a property, let's say he used his retirement money, his gratuity, to buy land with the aim of building on it. That is his retirement home. And you are telling him that after he has bought this land, he cannot build on it. Well, what do you expect him to do? Hold the thought. Now, what is the government doing to synergize these bodies? Because there are so many bodies just spread around that people do not even know where to check. A lot of people do not know that they have to even check with, okay, that there is LAPSCA. They know of LAPSCA, LAPSPA
The
rather,
laptop.
but they do not know of LAPSCA, that they have to check with the building control, and they just go ahead. They have given me permits to build, and you just go and start building. There is no, do you understand? A lot of people do not even know of the laboratory testing,
Yeah.
material testing lab. A lot of people do not know of so many of these bodies. So what is the government doing to synergize these bodies? Because I think that where these contraventions are coming from are because people do not know. There is no adequate information, and they are just too scattered everywhere.
Yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you that there's no synergy within the agencies who
Yes.
are supposed to serve as a stakeholder, and also because there is what is a gap between even the public and what the ministries are doing. In some developed countries, you cannot just carry on with buildings
Mm-hmm.
without authorization or having somebody as a project manager who is expected to know where and what to be done. But here in Nigeria, it takes a lot of struggle to be able to even build a house. So you want to do it little by little. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, some owners are the supervisors. This is
Yes.
some they call in the bricklayers, they call in that person. Sometimes when you look at the whole thing, there's no professional working on it
On
until
site.
there are served contraventions. That is when they now begin to say, "Oh, can I get somebody to help me with building approvals?" But they have already gone far.
Of course.
Yes, it is enough to say we want to pity them because resources have been put into it and efforts also needs to be appreciated. But again, we need to also look at the long time consequences of what we do because if we have a building that we want to save, but it will cause loss of life to a lot of persons, or an environment that is not safe to everyone, I think we rather want to let the one building go.
One building
So, which is
go.
why I would just want to advise the public that before you carry on, you have your money. In fact, before you buy, I always say before you buy, make sure you put the cost of your due diligence as part of the cost for
Of
buying, so
yes,
that
property.
you are beyond reasonable doubt
Mm.
sure that you are going through the right channel. Like for us in the surveying now, when you chat, you chat, you get an official chatting. The statement is written there. If you have an existing survey for the way you want to buy,
Yeah.
they also you do a land information certificate comes out. You see it is stated there. They will direct you to
Mhm.
where to go to be able to get your title document. But
Yeah.
however, title documentation is actually different from development. So when you're talking about title documentation, there's a point of divergence between the two subjects, which is something that the public needs to know. You could
Yeah.
own your property and have it own it rightfully, but you can also be confined to what you can build there,
Of
because there are
course.
areas for
Of course.
commercials, there are areas for residential, there are areas you can
Zoning.
use for, so that this use that you must adhere to. Even in residential area where is a flight zone area, there's a number of floors you can do.
Floors you
So
can
it's
go
not enough to be excited that you're boarding. That you need to
to know what you
understand, to
can
know
do
what
with the
you can do
property.
there and
Yes.
weigh your options before you swing into action of paying for the property. It is very, very important.
All right. So thank you very much for that. Now we want to look at some other issues. Now, a few months ago, we had the issue of the Lagos Calabar Coastal Road, and how we had the Tussle Weeks landmark, and all that brouhaha that happened in between.
Yeah.
So, where are we on this coastal road? How are we forging forward? So we've seen a lot of, rather, about two or three lines of the coastal road where they waiting they happen. These people are confusing us.
Well, I think the Coastal Road project actually mean well,
Mm.
and of course, sometimes when something good will happen, some persons will also have to sacrifice for it. In terms of what it is, and the whole why shifting boundaries, I also feel that the government is going through a lot of calculations, because the cost of compensation will also have to be added to the cost
Of
of the project, which
course.
will be much.
Mhm.
So the best thing you can do is to look at the least alternative that allows you not to pay too much
Too
of
much
compensation.
compensation.
So if you are looking at, yeah, the coastal road, okay, maybe landmark wants to use the beachfront, which
Yes.
of course the beachfront also will need using having access to Atlantic Ocean also has some kind of rules and regulation, which is binded by the laws in the country. Even there's a state law also binding that, and also
Yes.
I think recently I think I read somewhere that the newer government, the Lagos state government against the federal government have won the case. And I know very well that in part of the law that I took as a surveyor, because we work on water also, we know there are certain areas that the country owns, their economic zone, continental zones, and those things have their own interpretation for use. So if we look at the building, if you look at the landmark issue, and you look at the building, I do not think that the alignment actually cuts the building itself.
Yes.
But
It
we are
didn't.
looking at the after
The right
the
to
the
use
after
the,
event
yes.
part of it, which is the fun part of recreation,
Yes. The
where
right,
people are able to relax and
and use the beach.
use the beach, which they will cease to have access to. Yes, they get a clearance for it. What's the public interest in it? If it will satisfy the majority of the public,
Mm.
then one man interest will have
We
to
have to
succumb
go.
to
Yes.
it. Provided, even if they have to touch the building, he has to get a compensation from it. Now, when you look at the width of what we're talking about, now, I think the coastal road is about not about 100 meter width, which might be might be more than what they had actually catered for in the past, and they felt, okay, let's increase. And if they
Mhm.
have to follow the road alignment, it's most likely many structures will be affected,
Of
which I think they
course.
made them to go back to
So
take the water
yes.
part and be able to navigate. Now, I've also been on a project where I saw that I understand that the coastal road alignment is not just it's not something that just started yesterday. It's been on the master plan, and even in
Right.
Lagos, there are some
Yes.
gaps that you see some gates, and
Yes.
you'll see gate A, gate B, then you just see a gap. Now, some of these gaps has already been built on,
Mm.
and when you decide to proceed with your titling document,
Yes.
you will not get a clearance for it
Mm.
because they will tell you that it's on this alignment for road, which you are not seeing. But you are saying which road, which road?
There is no road
This person is building there. There's a
there.
filling station there. You argue.
And
You want
that
to argue that
that brings me to the fourth mainland bridge.
yes, yes. You know, it's almost the same kind of character and
Yes, it
behavior.
brings me to the Fort Mainland Bridge because we've seen a video of the proposed Fort Mainland Bridge and how it cuts through houses, a lot of houses. I hear there are about 800 houses that will have to go down.
Yes, because that zone, you see, when you look at the map,
Mm.
when you look at the map and you have an in-depth understanding of how the decisions were given, yes, I think the Land Use Act, which we are all clamoring for to be reviewed, is has given the government a kind of right that allows them to think for the people. But
Mm-hmm.
whether the thinking is now
Good
for
or
our
bad?
common benefits or personal benefits, that's left for them
Yes.
to look at within their conscience. But the truth is that when you look at the excisions, the areas that the government has mapped out for the communities to strive on, you will see that they have already accommodated this alignment. So when
Mm.
you look at it all through, you see that the alignment also passed through the water side and everything. Same
Yes.
thing like the regional road.
Mm.
You know, the regional road has been there for a long time, and now people are built on it, and the government uh, had to concede because it has an alternative to channel
Mhm.
through another place. But it's not leaving the place as you can carry on with it. They will
Yes.
still have to come and
Come.
rectify with
Of
it.
course.
So this place, because anything government wants to do, the fact that it's for the public interest, the government will hold on to it, even if
Yes.
some people will have to lose out. Now, it is now within the prerogative of the government to say, okay, what do we do? Can we just out of pity try to resettle these people somewhere and make them pay a token
Of course.
for it, or we also pay them a token amount of compensation, even if we settle them. We've seen example like the refinery, the
Mm.
Dangote refinery. The refinery, the situation, the position of the Dangote refinery is actually some people's village,
Village.
and
Yes.
people were relocated. We settled somewhere else, and they got also. I
Compensations.
was not there when they giving the compensation, but it's I believe that they should be
Believed.
compensated
Yes.
for moving them so that they can also continue. So those things are there, and that is why if you have done your due diligence, you will just hear it is Lekki acquisition. Especially in that as it's Lekki acquisition. What is going to be there, you don't know. But it's Lekki acquisition. But people will tell you that but
My friend bought
my
there and
friend
she's
brother
building
and has
it.
built and
And
build as well.
they are waiting to collect your money. So come
Yeah,
and buy
builder.
too.
So by the time you, as a professional, if I'm advising you, I've given you my first time advice. You pay me for my job. If you
Exactly.
decide to carry on, it is not my fault. I'll carry on with it. So the same thing happens to those in the ministry because when
Mm-hmm.
they come to warn you. They serve you
Contravention.
contraventions for doing something, and you insist that you want to carry on. They will be looking at you. The day the government is ready to take action, they will take the action. Mende is there also
Of course.
with
Of course.
with the drainage
Oh,
that's
I was
moving.
actually coming to Mende.
So
You have a habit of going ahead of me.
okay,
So that flooding thing you just mentioned brings me to Mende. Hmm. So what is going on in Mende? So Mende has been in the news for quite some time, but in the last 2 years it's been worse. Like it's been massive. The flooding in Mende has been like crazy. So what's going on in Mende? Is it that people contravene? Did they build on the drainages? What's actually going on?
okay. Well, what is going on is that is there anything really new to the people around there? I'm sure when you relate with some persons that have been living there, they will tell you, "Oh, we've heard in the past that this and that was going to come." And now, yes, there's flooding in Mende, but when you look at the environment, there's what the urban and regional planners would call environmental impact assessment
Mhm.
to be sure that, okay, this place, this kind of activities can happen there. That's planning. You think you come up with structures and policies that would sort the area. Now, they've always been an alignment of the canal, so to move from the Yalar down to Yano, the water
Okay.
side and everything.
Okay.
So, and those channels have been looked on like, okay, we're going to pass through here, we're going to navigate this way, we're going to go this way. But you see that people will buy sand and go and sandfield
And feel
to
it.
build.
Oh,
People would just keep
great.
building, from the next
Mm,
person say, this is my neighbor, come and buy. Even
mm,
the Omonilers will say, okay, this is it. This is our
yeah,
land. It's our
it's
land. It's
just to
just water.
it's just
Yes,
water. Just
it's
feel
a
it
swamp area. It's a swampy area. It's just
without
water.
not understanding that it's actually
Without an
a
understanding
canal
that it's a
trail.
canal trail,
Wow.
and because of the, when you want to do flooding in some countries, even in Namibia and some other European countries, some of them run kind of a single, they call it a connected kind of drainage, and it is maintained by the government. So it is not possible that one will block, and they are underground, like they're already catered for. But for
Mm-hmm.
here, because we have an ancient story that we still want to align to. Some family houses still want to remain the way they are, and when development comes, for us to be able to mitigate these issues, a lot of us will still have to sacrifice what we have to
Yes.
allow everybody to be able to allow the
True.
environment to be safe. So that's the main day issue. So it is not new. Of course, yes, maybe they now decided to expand the width so that the flow would be able to contain. But
Yeah.
when people are also building, you when you do a topographical survey, it allows you to have an understanding of what your terrain looks like. So you cannot be building and your floor, your house is low, and your
Exactly.
road, or
It's
because
higher.
the road has not been tarred, so you decide to now follow the road that is there without adding the you're not adding the factor that one day the road will become.
But that's the problem I see with the government, really. Because let's take for instance Ibejuleki, Ekpe. Now those places, especially Ibejuleki, we know the government know what they have in store for Ibejuleki. They know what they are going to bring there. They know that they're going to expand the roads. They know that now Ibejuleki is even now open. I remember as early as 2018, 2019 when I started
Yeah,
going to
of
Ibejuleki,
course, yeah.
it was quite a bush. And I kept asking myself, I said, will the government wait till this place becomes another Lekki when it comes to flood before they put something? That we see the people are already moving there, people are already building there, but there is no drainage in sight. So I believe that this is a government issue. When the government says, okay, this place will, you will see that people are already moving to this place. You have massive developments that you have to bring to that place. Why don't you go there ahead of the people? Put those basic amenities there. Lift the road, do the road, put the drainages. It will even make people come early. But no, the government will wait till people have built their houses, then they will not lift the road above the people's houses. I don't understand people.
Yeah, well, to be fair to the government also, government map areas and says this is going to be residential, but it is not government that develops the area. So it is one person coming in and that person coming to join. Somebody will say, come on, come. People will say, come and join us.
No,
Oh.
no, no, no. They map the area for residential,
They map the area for
right?
residentials.
But they do not make provisions for the residents. I don't understand. Is it the people that are going to build drainages? The drainage is the work of the government. They provide, those are basic amenities
Well,
that they should,
I don't
infrastructures rather,
I
that they
don't
should
know.
provide.
I don't know if it's going to. Yes, of course, I agree. But again, there's a part of the local governments in some of these things because there are areas like if you come to my street here, the local government is in
When you
charge.
say government, because that local government that you called, government is inside though.
Well,
So
of course.
that's the thing. So it's See, if the local government is not going to do its job, it
Yeah.
behoves on the state government to put pressure on the local government. Go and do it. You collect money.
Yes.
Do you understand? Even
Again.
the constituency allowances,
Yeah.
what are they doing with these things? This is where they are supposed to be put
Again,
to use.
again, that's where we have to come back to planning, and that is why the individuals also need to look at things. The guy selling the land also needs to plan. The guy buying also needs to ask questions, because if you are showing me a property, I want to ask you, what is the width of the road in front of my house? Are we considering having drainage also within the width? If you give me a
Yes.
6 meter road, so let's start from there,
Mm.
because we are the government. It is not government itself. No, I'm not taking side of government. Government pays me nothing. Yes, they have their own fault, but these are things though, because you can't see a survey plan without you can't see a survey plan without showing the
Proposed
road.
road. Yes.
So whether it is proposed or existing, you have to.
Mm.
There must be a way. You can't
Yes.
climb another person's fence. So these are questions. It's not just jumping in. So when you now buy a road, you buy a property, and they tell you that the road is coming, like you are the last person there. So you should begin to ask question, can I see what you're selling, what you're using to sell? Because the
Mm.
guy selling, before they say this is one plot, they have done a layout design.
Yes.
Whether it is approved or not approved, although the government says that for every layout it should be approved, they want to look at it. But it is not all layout. So some of the estates that you now see, the Bejuleki is
Of
opening
course.
because the estate, it is not the guys who live, who
Mhm.
are the indigents that are opening up Bejuleki. It
Yes.
is the real estate people that has
Exactly.
come in, and the real estate will come, will just buy the land,
Mm.
put a gate to it, fence the place. They don't have, some of them have a layout, but the layout has not been checked to
Yes. Not
look. So
approved.
some of them will also just cut it to be able to make more sales. So
Of
we need to
course.
also talk to ourselves to do the needful. Yeah, it might look very expensive, but it's save more to do the right thing.
See, I will always come back to the government. Now, in a place where there are no checks,
Yeah,
people just get to do anything that they like.
yeah, of course.
Good. So, what agency is in charge? What agency sees to it that these people do the right thing? Because at the end of the day, the people will run back to the government. If there is any let's say a real estate company scams them, they will still cry, government come to our aid. This is not what they always say. The only thing people know is the government. They don't know any other thing. They don't know
Yeah,
whether there
yeah.
is a David Elegbede somewhere. But the only person they know is the government. Tinubu, Sanwo-Olu. Those are the
Yes,
people.
of
Do you
course.
understand? So,
Yeah.
what agencies are there to check these things? Now we have a lot of real estate companies. Like I will tell my people, I do not sell properties that I am not sure of the
The
developers.
developers, yeah.
You understand? Because we have a lot of them. So who is checking these people to ensure that they do the right things?
Yes, I think the commissioner during the first time of this current
Mm.
governor, Tamplana Salako, was at a time moving to estates and telling them to submit their layout
Yeah, layouts.
because
Yes.
places like Banana Island, there were issues. There were a lot of people without
Layouts.
approvals, and you
Mm.
see we're beginning to witness building collapse because
Collapse.
you don't allow the people to come. Why? Because the top guys
Of
live
course.
in those areas.
Of
So
course.
those factors are also there manipulating the system. And when you want to try, you can't take away the fact that, oh, these are maybe the governor's friends or the guys in place say, okay, just leave it.
It is
Let's
well.
just
It
over
is
there.
well. We have to end the show, but we will not end without talking about the amnesty program because we talked about approvals, approvals,
Yeah,
approvals.
yeah.
But now we know that a lot of people over in my head, though, I do not have any statistics to prove it, but in my head, I can dare say that over 50% of the structures in Lagos do not have approvals. And now the government is calling out to people to come and get an amnesty. So tell us what this amnesty is about.
Yes, okay, I've also seen it. That's from the physical planning,
Mm.
and it's a good one to encourage people to do what they need to do. And in this kind of state where we are, and we talk about smart city, it is important to be able to identify what you are you have a control over. So
Mm.
it's not enough to just say, oh, we have buildings, but it's important to be able to say, oh, this is this, and this is the kind of building it is guided by any country would also want to
Of
do that.
course.
So when this is now the government now trying to reach out to the people that, okay, we're going to open a window, you're not going to pay penalty fee, because it will be out of fear that certain individuals will say, "Ah, the money I will use to go and do approval, let me use it to even start
So
foundation.
foundation,
Let me use it to take it to lintel. Let me use it because it's expensive." Yes, sometimes maybe the government also needs to look at this and try to make the cost friendly,
exactly.
because it's not like government is using the money to buy cement for them.
Of
So
course,
let's make the fee friendly so that it would interest people, it will be convenient for everybody across every cadre of living
of
to
course.
be able to key into it. So now they say no penalty, because if you are coming for approvals and you're very debut, you
You
are
are
supposed
supposed
to
to
pay a
pay
penalty.
penalties.
So
Yes.
there's no penalty. So that's another advantage to say, okay, let's have people come to do. And I think a lot of people have taken advantage of it, and that's a good one. But maybe we still need to, because I'm also hearing that the assessment fee also is not very friendly like that, because we are doing assessment for, we are paying for 500,000 naira, and you want to do, you rather say, let me hold on, let me
Wow.
just hold on. So
Wow.
these are some of the things. So we need to make these processes seamless. If it is the cost of inspecting or coming to check that, how can we do it? Can we turn this thing to digital? No, I know we have to pay for space, but it will reduce the cost, and
Yes.
also make it friendly for people to be able to, because there are some necessary things that you need to do that will make people to come on board, and
Of
that is why
course.
you are government, because you
Yes.
can accommodate the
Yes,
expenses.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So thank you so very much. I believe we have exhausted all the important things I wanted to touch on this show today. Thank you, David Elegbede,
Thank you very much.
ESV. Is there something else? NIVS. Have
No,
you?
we don't use ESV. ESV
Okay.
is the estate surveyors.
Oh, okay.
So we use MNIs, that's member Nigerian Institution of Surveyors.
Okay.
So I'm a member. I'm a member of
Okay,
the organization.
I'll just stay with my David Elegbede, my friend and my brother.
It's
Thank you so
okay.
much.
Thank you
It
so much
was
for having me.
very it was a delight having you on the show.
Yeah, it's
It's
very
always a
interesting talking
delight
about some of these
talking
things.
to you. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I hope you've learned one or two things from the show today. And we would like to take this opportunity to call on our government. Hey Joe, help us. Help us to make our lives better. Especially with these fees that we have to pay to build for the assessment
The
fee, the
approvals,
approvals, the
the cost
penalty.
of
The
getting those
cost
things.
of these things are driving people away. If we can have a way to reduce these prices so that at least it is okay, it is something that people can at least afford and then go ahead to build. And do not forget that we also have to increase, rather to reduce the housing deficit in Nigeria. So if you are using costs to drive us away, how do we build? Ah, so it is on this note that we would like to close the show today. Watch out for the next episode of On the Couch, where we'll be bringing you everything real estate with seasoned industry professionals. I remain Chibuzo Amamaika, MD CEO Nahida Properties, and I'm saying have a good evening.